So it's a rainy day here in Southern California, and I am looking at my pretty lavender and purple papers, gathering up inspiration for this year's Easter cards. And I'm going to be using Stamperia's Provence. Has a lot of pretty papers in it. And to help that out, I'm also going to use Lilac Flowers. It's got a lot of pretty tags and stuff in it. The card base is going to be a 6x6, not so much of a monster card. And I think it's going to be a top opening card like that rather than to the side. Haven't decided, that could change. And I'm already cutting out some of the fun ephemera pieces, little pockets, and just being inspired by what's to come. So here's a little preview of the card I'm going to be working on. I'll have a few brief segments showing how I made the folds on this front feature. I ended up doing about 3 of them so far, all a little bit different. And when I'm done with the how-to portion, I'll do a flip through and show you all the goodies inside. This is the feature on the front of this Easter card, and I just wanted to show you the measurements here. This piece of cardstock is 12 inches long, and it's been scored, and I'll share those score marks with you and how to fold it. But right now I just want to show you the panels. The first panel that attaches is 3 5/8 inches wide, and then it's 4 3/8 inches tall, glued on. Panel number 2 is larger. It's 4 5/8 by 4 3/4. That one's glued on to the next section. And then this last part is merely a piece that extends this part so that you get 5 inches. It comes up about an inch short when you're using 12-inch paper. So any size piece you want to attach will be fine. I did a 3-inch wide piece because I plan to glue it like this and make it a pocket feature. And then this is the part, of course, that gets glued down. So that's the panels. So for the card base, I had a large scrap and I cut it in half. So I ended up with 12 inches by 6 inches, and then I scored right here so I could fold it over right like that. Pretty easy. And then for that special feature on the front, I used another piece of cardstock that's 12 inches wide, and this time it's 5 inches high because that's how it's going to fit on the card, a little bit offset. So the scoring on this is at 2 inches, then at 5 inches, then at 8 inches, leaving a 4-inch section here that you're going to have to add an inch to make it a total of 13 inches. And how it folds up is this first part folds in like this, and then this part folds in. That's it, 2 folds, right? And then we're going to add a portion right here to make this 5 inches. I want to give you a little update on this front feature for the card. It's coming together pretty good. Here is the panel that I glued to this first section, and if you remember, that is panel number 1. It was supposed to go like this, but I decided it looked better this way. Still allows these other papers to peek through, but I like that placement better. And so you can see how that was glued here. This is the second panel right here. Made it out of a different color paper and glued it to this other section that's the 3-inch section. I'm going to make something to go in this belly band. And then the last section, if you recall, we had to add an extra inch to the back because it wasn't long enough. So I cut a piece that was 3 inches wide, glued it on right here, and then I added this little feature so that it'll be a pocket. And while I was in this area, I made this little pocket. The gift card fits in here, believe it or not. It looks pretty thin, but it fits. So I still have some embellishing to do, and when I'm done with this, it'll glue in the middle of that 6x6 card. And before I glue it down, I will put a strip of ribbon so that I can bring the ribbon up and tie it, right? So that these little doors will stay closed. So that's it. Stay tuned for more progress. So I'm making some ephemera, maybe some little booklets and tags for my cards. And I pulled out this scrap and I was looking on the back and I thought, oh wait, this is the cover. But isn't that interesting? It almost looks like a collage. So I started playing around with it, and this is what I came up with. My choice was either to use this, which seems kind of boring, or these. So what I did was take the cover and cut 5-inch by 6-inch pieces, score at 3 inches, and now I have this interesting little booklet. I think it's just adorbs. I love the combination of the papers there. Here's the back. Now, if you didn't like this part, you could take a scrap and glue it on there, but I don't mind it. So this little booklet opens up like this, and I'll put some kind of a sentiment on the inside, embellish it some other way. And here's another one I made. This one is just a card. So it's sealed up. And I put some book paper here that correlates back to the card I'm making. And then before I completely glued it, I added a piece of lace on the inside. But I like those papers together. I just think that's adorable, if I haven't already said that. And if you didn't like, for instance, say on this one, if you didn't like the way that looked, you could take a scrap, like I have a plain scrap here, and you could just glue it there and make like a little pocket, stick, some little thing in it, and presto, you've gotten rid of that, right? So anyway, that's today's update. So let me walk you through a couple of the cards that are mostly finished. This is the lavender polka dot one, and by the way, this is the boxes that I use to mail a 6x6 card in. And let me briefly explain the concept of borrowed scenery. This tag sticks out on purpose, and so does that. The Japanese have this landscaping aesthetic called borrowed scenery, and that has to do with incorporating the roses that your neighbors have in their yard that you can see from your backyard and enjoy just as much as if they were your own. So that's what you'll see throughout this card, or throughout my cards. So we'll undo this little ribbon and we'll take a close look at the first panel. It's embellished with some little pretty things. There is a little tag on the inside, and I will embellish those with personal sentiments a little bit later. Here's a little feature added, a little butterfly. The belly band ended up having this piece in it, and it's actually a little envelope that something can be put inside, but I'm going to use it for some kind of an Easter sentiment, and I like it just like that, so the top part sticks up and creates that borrowed scenery. And then here's my gift card. In the preview, I showed you that little pocket I made. It's just big enough to hold that. And then here's a pretty little card and Another little, remembering Monkey Doo. You guys know who Monkey Doo is by now, right? So that's the inside. So let's tie this up for you so it won't get in our way. And by the way, these cards do stand up, nice and rigid. So here's what the inside looks like. There's a feature here at the top. It's a big pocket, and that's where this tag goes. Pretty tag. It's got some antique music paper on it, and actually does say Happy Easter. I know some people don't think that I actually say Happy Easter or Happy Birthday in my cards, but I say it somewhere. It just doesn't shout at you. And then I love this pocket here. It's an element out of the Stamperia paper, and roughed it up a little bit. This tag was made out of one of the covers, and I just added a little cross here on the side, a little Happy Easter. It's pretty sweet, huh? So here's the second one I wanted to share with you. This one's done in Stamperia papers as well. And I did a different ribbon enclosure on this one. As you can see, it doesn't go all the way across. What I did was added it here so that it just peeks out here and ties right there. It's a different way to do it. So first panel has a little tag on the inside that needs some embellishing, of course. And then here is some, there you go, another tag. Stick this sucker back in here. Come on. There you go. Just have to play with them a little bit. This has some borrowed scenery, as you can see right here. So we flip this open, and I left this part kind of plain. Sometimes I think that you just need a place for the eye to rest. You don't have to decorate every single thing in your card. Here's a belly band. And I created this on my, I forget, I have some kind of a tool that automatically makes little envelopes for you any size you want. The Easter gift cards inside, and even though I used that tool, it came up kind of short, and you know, it was not showing, it was showing right there. So I put this little panel on it to hide that. You know, we have to do that when we're making cards. We have to, I think it goes in this way better. We have to improvise. And then there's a little panel here. There's a pocket I made, and this is a book page. So there you go. This is actually from that book called Lasher. I think it's an Anne Rice book. I never read it, but it's finding its use in other ways. And this is a decorated vintage playing card. It's actually a playing card. And it's just there because. And then the last part is this side pocket with a pretty little piece. I used my edger to make that lacy effect. Happy Easter, and also that antique music paper that I love to use. And this stands up great as well. And the inside. Made a pretty pocket. Here is that extended tag. It says Happy Easter. And then this is just a pocket that's been stitched. And the front of my card is fighting with me because I didn't tie it closed. I should have. There's some music paper in the back. I showed you this earlier, this little sewed together, glued together card. And here's just a little card that needs a nice sentiment on the inside. Yes, before you showcase the inside of the card, you should always close your little element on the front so that it doesn't get out of hand, right? There you go. So when the other ones are done, I'll share those as well.